Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night. It's 9:30. It's time to go behind the hedges. Tonight, we're talking to some volunteers about the upcoming Tennessee season. But before we do that, let's do this.
I wake up every minute with the fever dreams. I push a mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be.
Yeah, Katie, I see that head bobbing, dude. That's the old new intro, man. I got kind of zapped on YouTube this week, and they made me take my old music down. So I said, all right, it's fine. We'll take away the old and put in some new. And I frankly kind of love it. So welcome dogs, welcome Vols. KTG and Patrick are over here representing the red and black. And we got the super genius, Mr. Wiley, and young Brandon. So welcome, Orange guys. So tonight we're going to be talking about a few things, but first and foremost, I am very interested to know about everything that's changing on Rocky Top. All right, so real quick, coming off a pretty good season, or at least a season that I think you guys were happy with overall.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The phrase that was used numerous times was ahead of schedule, right? So new coach Heupel comes in, he installs his bag of tricks. Got yourselves a good quarterback and some good receivers, and you guys were able to do some stuff in year one. So what is changing? From 2021 to 2022, what can we expect to see differently?
The word of the day is continuity, my friend. Continuity. As of yesterday, February 21st, 2022, Tennessee had only lost one assistant coach, and that was Cody Burns, who's the wide receivers coach, who is supposedly taking the same position with the New Orleans Saints, which is it's a loss. I mean, that was a definite key. That was definitely a position of success for Tennessee, especially Cedric Tillman, Javante Payton, Velus Jones, all those guys that really did well. I mean, they were the big playmakers, the heart and soul of that offense, and so it's going to be interesting to see what we decide to do to fill that gap.
Wiley, I'm not convinced that this is that big of a hit.
Well, I don't think it is either. I mean,
well, if you look at Heupel's history, it's been this.
Yeah,
we're gonna gun it down the field, and we're gonna air it out. And I mean, you need a wide receivers coach, but
I mean, did you guys see that? Cortez Hanks left Georgia and went to LSU, and there was a little a headline, a teaser or something that said he was being courted by the Saints. And so, is it locked in stone that Cody Burns is taking that job, or is
it's expected that it's the quote is from the News Sentinel that he's expected to take it.
I just thought it was interesting that Cortez would leave us, pick up the job in LSU, and then almost immediately drop it. That would just be that would be wild, considering that he's a Louisiana guy, though. I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibilities to entertain the Saints, I suppose. But if they're going after your guy, then all right, fine, makes sense to me.
I mean, they're still looking at what they're going to do. There've been any number of guys who've been thrown out. Names have been thrown out to fill the job from the outside. One of the names I found was kind of interesting was Montario Hardesty, who's now the running backs coach at South Carolina, who played for Tennessee under Phil Fulmer.
I tell you who
as a running back who has experience as a wide receivers coach.
I've got my pick of wide receivers coach.
Yeah,
the one, the only, Peerless Price.
Honestly. I mean, if you're asking me, if as a Tennessee ride or die, if I'm going to go out and hire a wide receivers coach, I'm going to go grab Kippy Brown off the golf course. Now,
I like the Peerless Price.
Peerless is probably. I mean, or I'd go get God, who's the Jermaine number Copeland? I'd go drag Jermaine Copeland back home from Canada. I mean,
so aside
been
from coaches, because
years.
sounds like the coaching continuity is going to be pretty good. What about in the realm of any notable players leaving in the transfer portal or
Tyon Evans announced he was entering the portal towards the end of the season. I mean, he's a luxury. He really is. I mean, he's a good back, and we have loved to have him. But Jamari Small and then Leaf Whitehead, and I mean, they were
more than made up for his.
They were what we needed as far as the change of pace from the throwing game. And so I think we're going to be okay without him.
Although I would love a good receiving back.
Yeah.
So Jabari Small will be back in there.
Yeah, I mean the kid that's kind of I think could fill that spot is Justin Williams, the kid from East Paulding that we signed. He's kind of in that mold, and we've got so that kind of like out on the perimeter, kind of scat back kind of kid. And we've got another smaller back that we pulled out of Louisiana named Dylan Sampson, who.
So for the folks at home who don't know, you guys are actually working with fewer than the 85 scholarships spaces because of some sanctions self-imposed. So you guys are going to probably wind up having.
Thanks, Coach Pruitt.
Coach Palmer.
So you guys are going to probably have a roster in the mid 70s, mid 75 ish.
Yeah, players. I would. Yeah, I mean, we finished the season with 76 scholarship players.
Right.
So I would think that's where we're going to end up after the spring.
How many are you bringing in with this recruiting class?
Right now we have 13 early enrollees led by Addison Nichols from Greater Atlanta Christian. He's probably going to be our starting left guard of the future. And Taven Jackson, quarterback from Center Grove High School in Greenwood, Indiana. He's going to be our quarterback of the future. Once
he really was an early.
Yeah, he signed on quickly, and we've got some really good. The place I always worried about is always offensive line and defensive backfield. We got a kid who out of Detroit named Messiah Reddick, who sounds like a really high quality. I heard an interview with him, and he was fantastic and really overly enthusiastic about coming. And then we've also got Gerald Mincy, who was an early transfer to us in Florida. So I think he's got some SEC game experience. So I think we'll see him up there. We do have a pretty impressive NFL legacy coming in the defensive back. We have Christian Harrison from Woodward Academy down there in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
And so we'll see how he does. But we've got I mean, we're looking pretty good. I mean, the one almost departure that really kind of scared the hell out of me was 9. Help me out, Brandon. Tyler Barron was Tyler Barron. He jumped into the portal.
Yeah,
and luckily changed his mind pretty quickly. And then the one big surprise of
I probably said some 10 o'clock words.
Well, we didn't think the one guy we got that we didn't think that nobody thought we were going to get was Tyree West out of Tift County.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think everybody thought he was going to stay home or stay closer to home, but we
got some smoke early on that it looked like he might be leaving or trending away from us pretty quickly. And honestly, guys, we didn't really do a lot to put claws in him. You know what I'm saying? We had some some big bucks that we were targeting for that defensive line, and he's plenty good. Don't get me wrong, he's plenty good. But I mean, I think we signed, what was it, like 4 dudes that were higher rated than that, and he was like a 0.95 something, you know. And
we got it. We just got to have somebody to fill that. Matthew, we're losing Matthew Butler, and he was a good. He was a serviceable to good interior lineman, and we need somebody to fill that spot.
Real quick, where's Roman Harrison?
As far as I know, he's probably second or third. He's still probably behind Jeremy Banks on the depth chart.
Gotcha.
I think he'll get so. And then Solon Page the third, he was a walk on. He worked his way up to get some really, really good snaps towards the end of the season. I mean, I think those two are going to be your. I mean, Roman. It'll be Banks. It'll be Banks and Roman, or Banks and Page.
I just had to ask because he's a hometown guy.
He's a members guy. Yeah, always got to ask my members guy.
Like I said, fellas, it's been things on Rocky Top have been extra quiet.
For once in the off season, thank God.
Yeah, well,
you had knock on wood. There have been no shenanigans.
For good or bad, they've been quiet.
I mean, the only controversy right now really is where they're going to play the orange and white game.
Gotcha.
And some dumbass got the bright idea that they ought to play it in Birmingham.
So before we move on, KT, Patrick, you guys have any questions about changes at Tennessee? You guys got anything for these guys before we move on?
The only question I have, I asked y'all before the show, are y'all going to score 20 this year? The only question I got, and that's my favorite clip of the whole show, so I got to bring it up.
Hey, at least some of this shit went viral.
Just roll it.
What clip are you talking about, dude?
Hey,
I think we'll hang 20.
What?
Just to remind you, fellas, we got an Instagram account.
Yep. The only thing,
Go up on Instagram.
Honestly, the only thing that would made that clip any better if Ducati had done a full on fucking spit take, you know.
Like if he had actually had some liquid in his mouth.
Although you know what, Wally?
Danny Thomas spit take.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Wally. You know what? These fellas apparently can't round up. 17 to 20 is a field goal.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
man.
pretty damn close.
Horseshoe.
Close only counts in short. And what is it? Hand grenades.
Thanks, Mean Gene.
All right.
I'll elaborate something real quick. For those
go real quick.
Youngsters who don't know, when I brought up Kippy Brown was the wide receiver coach who coached Tim McGee, Carl Pickens, Thomas T.D. Woods, who's still the number one receiver in Vols history, and a lot of these guys. He was actually the interim coach when Kiffin left. So the guy is a first-class wide receivers coach, and if we got him back, we'd be lucky.
Okay. All right, boys. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a bit.